Joe Rogan is a 6-time MMA Personality of the Year winner and has been featured in 3 EA Sports video games. He went from growing up with an abusive father and being terrified of being called a loser as a child to having one of the most popular podcasts and YouTube channels on the planet. And today we're going to learn his best advice to how to keep your ego in check. Rise and shine, it's Entspresso time!
I wake up every morning.
Espresso keep me going.
I wake up every morning.
Hey, it's Carmichael, and every morning I bring you a shot of Entspresso to help you believe in yourself more and start your day with confidence. So good morning. I believe in you, and let's do this. Joe Rogan, tell us how we can put our ego in check.
I was talking to a friend of mine about imposter syndrome. That
Impostor syndrome?
Yeah, you know that feeling, you know, expression?
No.
It's you get it when people think that you're really good at something and you don't have a lot of self-worth, or you have this perception of yourself that you're not worthy.
Right.
You know, like maybe as an artist, that's a big one that you have it as an artist. Like I had it forever as a comedian, and I probably still have it a little bit, but less so than I used to, because I'm just more accomplished and more understanding of what it is, and the more engrossed in the process. And I know what it is now more than I did before.
Okay.
And like when I meet famous people, if they know who I am, I'd be like, oh my God, I got to get out of here. This person knows who I am. I'm tricking them.
Right.
It's a trick.
They don't know.
And they're like, hey man, I love your stuff. I'm like, no, you don't. You think you do. You don't. Trust me. Let me get away from you.
Right.
It's like this imposter thing. And then sometimes enough things happen where you go, you know what? I think I might be legit. Like, this is so crazy. Like, I thought I was an imposter forever, but I think I'm going to relax and just concentrate on the work and not worry about whether or not I'm an imposter anymore. And just concentrate on the work.
That ego's always there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always there, man. But the ego, it's interesting. Imposter syndrome is often more prevalent in people who are legitimately talented. And for some strange reason, because when you're legitimately talented, one of the ways you become legitimately talented is to be ruthlessly self-critical. Because that's how you get really good at something. And in ruthless like, I remember Cat Williams was talking about himself once. And Cat Williams is a crazy person, but a brilliant comedian. And he said something that I've always thought. And he's like, I'm not a fan of me. And he goes like, I don't particularly like me. You know, it's like, that is why he's great. Because that makes you work so hard. Like, the worst thing a comedian can be in the beginning is sure of themselves and then incompetent at the same time. It's horrible. It's horrible because you're not good, but you think you're amazing. And then you understand, you don't know why the world doesn't think you're amazing. Because you think you're great, because you're delusional. You have this sort of artificial image of the world that you've put up, and in the world you are the center. You are the center, and you want everything to evolve around you. Imposter syndrome exists because your ego won't, like, your mind understands that your ego will f this up. If you let your ego say, oh, I'm the man, you're gonna ruin this whole thing. Like, you have to be aware of what this is. Like, this ride requires you to stay within a certain frequency. You have to stay inside that frequency. As soon as you start going, yeah, everything's awesome, it all goes away. All of it goes away. You have to stay inside that frequency, and that frequency is not a frequency where you're very pleased with yourself.
You have to be your biggest critic as well as your biggest cheerleader. Most of us will be our own worst critics, but not our own biggest cheerleaders. Some of us will be our own biggest cheerleaders, but not self-criticize enough. You need to be both, critic and cheerleader, and have the self-awareness to know which one you need right now most in the moment. So Monday is my mentoring day, and this past Monday I was mentoring Alex, who's on my team. He helps me run Toronto Dance Salsa, and I recently gave him an exercise that I call the pillow test, where every night before you go to bed, you're scoring yourself out of 10 for how you felt the effort was for the day. Not the results that you got, but the effort. And he created his score sheet out of 10, what leads to a 10 for him. And one of the things he was doing was, if you got a 9 out of 10, feeling like, oh, I got 90%, it's a pretty good day. And I was telling him, no, that's not enough. That 9 out of 10 does not equate to 90% on a test. You should be hitting 10 out of 10 every time, unless you're proud of the reason why you didn't hit it. When I broke my neck and I was on my tour, and I still, when I did Instagram live sessions, I committed I was going to do an Instagram live every day, and I was doing half an hour to an hour every day. My first Instagram live in the hospital was for like 4 minutes, 5 minutes. And I started getting glazy-eyed and post. It wasn't the best result, but I still did it. I still showed up. I'm still proud of my effort. And so he said, well, how do I know the difference? How do I know if that 9 out of 10 is something that is amazing or something really bad? At the end of the day, you have to look at that list. You have to look at what you did for the day and ask yourself, are you proud of the effort that you put in? I think we're way too easy on ourselves. I think too often we're just too easy on ourselves. We're not a harsh enough critic on ourselves that you know you're capable of doing more. And so for me, I'll default to 95% of the time, I'm my critic. It's based off of a pillar of love, right? At the foundation is self-love. When you love yourself, you can be way harder on yourself than other people are. I think we should be hard on ourselves 95% of the time. And then 5% of the time, you have to be actually more gentle on yourself. 5% of the time, you got to figure out, you know what? I did a good job. I'm proud of what I did today. When you're feeling really low and in the hole and borderline depressed, getting hard on yourself isn't going to work, right? It just further creates depression. So that's when you need to be gentle on yourself. You need to pat yourself on the back more and say, you're doing the best that you can. Sometimes that means just getting out of bed is doing the best that you can. Again, when I broke my neck, just getting out of bed was the best that I could on some days. But more often than not, you can go harder. You could do more. You need to be your own biggest critic more. So that's the balance. It's being both your biggest cheerleader and your biggest critic, and having the self-awareness to know which one you need more right now in the moment to help you move forward. So how do you do it? I've got a 3-step process that I think will help. But before that, if you want to learn how to have more self-love, I have a 254 series for you where every day for the next 254 days, I'll send you an email for free with a link to a video that will help you build your self-love. The link to join is in the description below.
It's good to treat other people the way you would like to be treated yourself. It's like a golden rule, and there's a reason for it. And that reason is that we're connected.
Okay, here's my 3-step process on how you can be your biggest critic, biggest cheerleader, and know the difference between them. So step number 1 is a pillow test. And the pillow test is asking yourself before you hit your head on the pillow at night. So tonight, before I'm gonna go to bed, I'm gonna ask myself, am I proud of my effort? And this is a great check-in every single day because you may not have gotten the results. What the world is judging you by in terms of how many followers you have or revenue coming in or dollars in your bank account or all the things, all the results that you're being judged by yourself, by your peers, by your friends, by your family, by the people in your industry. It's easy to get lost in those. Are you proud of your effort? Ask yourself every night, are you proud of the effort that you put in today? Yes or no, or if you want to do it like Alex, a scale out of 10. Number 2, ask yourself, do I need to be harsher on myself or more gentle on myself? Is today the day that I need to beat myself up and say, I need to do a better job? Or today the day I need to be a little more gentle on myself and say, it's okay, I fell off the wagon, I'm gonna get back on and do it. Which one do you need? Learning to ask yourself those 2 questions. Am I proud of my effort? And do I need to be more gentle or harsher on myself? And learning the difference and applying it on a daily basis will change your life. And then step number 3 is, what will you do differently tomorrow? So it's a daily check-in. It's a daily check-in to figure out, are you proud of yourself? Do you need to be harsher or more gentle on yourself? And then what's gonna change tomorrow? How will I show up differently tomorrow? How will I apply more of my max effort tomorrow? And if you did that process even tonight, you'll notice it on a one-up. You'll notice, you ask yourself that question tonight. Tomorrow will be better. Tomorrow will be maybe massively better, but at least slightly better. And if you do that consistently, if every day you ask yourself those 3 questions, and then the next day was slightly better, you're gonna start compounding. You're going to start making every day much, 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 much better. That then, again, you look back 3, 6, 12 months, your life is completely different. Most people never check in. Most people are just their biggest critic and they don't love themselves enough. They're not the biggest cheerleader. Most people never think about how can tomorrow actually go better. Most people never think to reward the effort. Most people never think to reward themselves and tie their self-worth and how proud they are of the effort that they're putting in. That's why most people aren't happy. That's why most people aren't chasing their dreams. That's why most people aren't getting the result that they want in their life. Follow that 3-step process and your life will change. Take the pillow test. Rank yourself for how proud you are of your effort. Ask yourself if you need to be more harsh or more gentle on yourself. And then ask yourself, what will be different tomorrow? 3 steps to change your life. Now, I've got a really special bonus clip that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, question of the day, I want to know, so far up to today, you still have time before you go to bed, unless you're watching this in bed. But so far up to today, out of 10, how would you rank your effort? And where do you want to be by the end of the day? And what do you need to do to get to a 10? Let me know. Put it down in the comments below. And if you're still here watching, you made it this far in the video, and you promised to take action after watching it. We don't just watch videos, we do something in our life about them. Give me a hashtag believe down in the comments below. I want to celebrate you.
Loyalty and not forgetting what you thought and where you were and when you started, you know, is so important in business.
Yeah. Gosh, man,
because when the money, first of all, when you're losing money, everybody wants to point the finger at whose fault it is.
Yeah.
And then when it turns around, you start making money, everybody wants to say it's me, me, me.
Yeah.
And then you start having differences in opinions and you see all these great things break up because of ego.
Yeah.
Or money. Like, you telling me Guns N' Roses can't get together and go on a tour and play.
Yeah.
How long, one of my favorite bands ever, the Eagles, how long the Eagles went without playing together, you know, because of that stuff. Come on, you guys, come on. I mean, it's just ego and that type of stuff ruins some of the greatest products, some of the greatest businesses, some of the greatest friendships, bands, and it's just completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
If you want to know why Jordan Peterson says you must treat yourself well, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
If you're going to treat yourself properly, which you should, you have to treat yourself as an iterated process across time properly.